Have you ever wondered why you reach for your phone the second it buzzes? This invisible engine is known as the cue craving response reward cycle. It is the fundamental building block of human behavior, acting as a continuous loop that governs every automated action you take throughout the day. In his transformative book, James Clear explains the atomic habits habit loop. This framework shows how small, repeated actions become hardwired into our biology. By understanding this loop, we can stop being victims of our impulses and start designing a life of intentional progress through the power of small wins. To master your behavior, you must understand the 4 stages of the habit loop. These stages, cue, craving, response, and reward, work together in a specific sequence. If a behavior fails at any of these 4 stages, it will not become a habit, making this the ultimate blueprint for change. The process begins in the basal ganglia with the cue. This is a bit of information that predicts a reward, like the smell of coffee. This atomic habits cue craving response reward sequence starts when your brain scans the environment for signals of potential satisfaction or immediate gratification. Next is the craving, the motivational force behind every habit. You don't crave the habit itself, but the change in state it provides. A cue craving response reward example is not wanting to smoke a cigarette, but wanting the feeling of relaxation that the nicotine provides to you. This leads to the response, which is the actual habit you perform. Whether this happens depends on your motivation and the amount of friction involved. If an action requires more physical or mental effort than you are willing to expend, the habit loop will simply fail to execute. Finally, the reward provides the closing of the loop. This is where the dopamine spike happens, teaching your brain which actions are worth remembering. Through a process called reward prediction error, your brain adjusts its future expectations based on how satisfying the actual outcome of the behavior felt. Let's look at more habit loop examples. Consider checking social media. The cue is boredom. The craving is the desire to feel connected. The response is opening the app, and the reward is a hit of novelty. This cycle strengthens the neural pathways in your brain every time. To apply habit loop theory, you must manipulate these stages. To build a good habit, make the cue obvious through environment design. To break a bad one, make the cue invisible. You can also use habit stacking to pair a new habit with an existing, well-established cue. Mastering the James Clear cue craving response reward system allows you to hack your own biology. By making the response easy and the reward satisfying, you create an upward spiral of productivity. Remember, your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. Focus on the system, not the goals. By optimizing each of the 4 stages, you transform your identity one small win at a time. Use these atomic habits habit loop principles to design your environment for success. Start today by identifying one cue you can change to trigger a better response and a more fulfilling reward.